Welcome to Steffon's Soundtrack Series. I'm your host, Steffon, and this is where you get the pleasure of hearing how impactful a song or album was in my life, usually coming by the way of personal feelings and personal anecdotes. So in this episode, we will take a trip to St. Louis, and you will learn about what song actually made me purchase my first ever hip-hop album. So let's get into it. Murphy Lee, along with Nelly and the St. Lunatics, represented an era for hip-hop, and definitely an era for me. They were what ventured me into hip-hop. I was young, we're talking like 7 to 8 years old, but before that, I was mostly listening to many pop and bubblegum hits that were played on the radio. I mean, I had heard hip-hop songs before, but the whole St. Lunatics crew is what got me enthralled deeper into hip-hop music because their music was so fun. This became the perfect gateway for me at the time when I was 8 years old. That steered me to purchasing my first ever hip-hop album in 2003, which was Murphy Lee's debut album, Murphy's Law, on the strength of a record that will be highlighted in this audio story. If you're any kind of fan of Murphy Lee, you should know which one I'm talking about. But first, there are so many distinct memories that I have with this album. This album was so fun and filled with so much energy, just like a lot of early 2000s albums. Murphy Lee and Nelly compelled me to scream, "Hold up, wait a minute, let me put some pimpin' in it," at 8 years old, with remotely no clue what that even meant. But man, that hook was just too catchy. You know, back then, at that age, it was absolutely just about the singles, which this album had a couple of massive ones, especially the hooks for the singles is what drew me in. I wasn't breaking down the lyrics of album cuts just yet. As far as I can remember, the only album cut that I really listened to was This Goes Out, featuring Nelly, Lil Wayne, Lil Jon, Roscoe, and Cardan. This album automatically reminds me of a time of being a carefree child. Shake Your Tail Feather was a colossal hit that appeared on the Bad Boys 2 soundtrack as well as this album. But the song that I'm going to highlight in this audio story is the song that caused me to purchase Murphy's Law, which is What the Hook Gon' Be, featuring Jermaine Dupri. What the Hook Gon' Be was the first single from Murphy Lee's 2003 debut album, Murphy's Law. It features and is produced by Jermaine Dupri. The song was a significant hit that boosted the career of Murphy Lee and the brand of the St. Lunatics crew as a whole. To start, when JD's bouncy beat comes in on the one, you know it's time to dance and party. It has that certain swing to it that makes you want to do a dance like the chicken head, which was prominently featured in the video. Now that I'm older, I can appreciate the lyrics and that Murphy Lee was snapping at times, like in the first verse, when he's talking about people trying to prevent the movement. His introductory lines to the song are, "Now what goes up must come down, but we ain't coming down." The verse even gives a shout out to St. Louis legends Darius Miles and Larry Hughes. The second verse is talking about his come up from being broke with lines like, "Plus we was broke with a deal but nobody could tell, so we did what we had to do for country grammar to sell." Or, "I'm basically coming from nothing to something when I say nothing, meaning pocket full of lint and buttons." However, the crown jewel of this song is the infectious hook shared by Murphy Lee and Jermaine Dupri. To capture the essence that I felt as a kid, I'll recite the edited version of the hook. JD goes, "But yo, what the hook gon' be?" And Murphy blazes in with, "See, I don't need no hook on this beat." The irony of that is the fact that Murphy Lee says he doesn't require a hook on the beat, but the hook is what intrigued me and persuaded me to buy this album. It continues. "All I need is a track in the background, my headphones loud, keep the going round, and I'ma rip, woo!" No matter what anyone says, What the Hook Gon' Be will forever be remembered as a classic for me, because it ingratiated me deeper into hip-hop culture, causing me to feel like an honorary member of the St. Lunatics. And as the St. Lunatics always said, "Dirty ENT, we all we got." This audio story was written and produced by me, Steffon. Make sure you follow me on Twitter and Instagram at simply_Steffon, SIMPLY_STEFFON, to follow this series and more.